The air was thick that evening, the kind of silence that holds too many secrets. Streetlights flickered as the wind rustled through manicured lawns. Inside the HOA office, a dim yellow light leaked from behind the blinds. The board's private meeting was already in progress, and every word spoken inside carried the weight of something forbidden. Mr. Collins, the HOA president, sat at the head of the long oak table. His posture was perfect, confident, but his eyes darted between his board members. "We need to be careful about what leaks out," he said, voice low and commanding. "People are beginning to ask questions about the community vote. We can't let that spiral." Sarah, the treasurer, shifted uneasily in her seat. She had been part of the HOA for years, but never had she felt this uncomfortable. Her conscience gnawed at her. "Maybe it's time to be honest, Collins," she said carefully. "People are noticing the discrepancies. They deserve to know the truth." Collins's expression hardened. "Honesty doesn't pay the bills, Sarah," he snapped. "Do you know what happens if we admit to mismanagement?" "We lose funding, confidence, everything. This community relies on us." There was silence. One of the members, Greg, cleared his throat but said nothing. Everyone knew the president had a way of twisting truth into loyalty. Meanwhile, outside the room, homeowner Jake crouched by the hallway window, his phone recording faint voices through the glass. He had always felt that something was off about the HOA. Random fines, hidden fees, and unexplained projects that cost thousands. And tonight he was getting the confirmation he needed. He listened closely. Collins's voice came through the recording. "We'll hide the audit results. The homeowners don't need to know where every dollar went." Sarah's faint voice followed. "That's not leadership, that's deception." Jake's heartbeat quickened. His fingers trembled slightly as he kept recording. He didn't realize that his quiet investigation would soon ignite a storm. The next morning, Jake met Lisa, his next-door neighbor. She was sharp, practical, and someone who never feared confrontation. "You recorded them?" she asked in disbelief. Jake nodded, sliding his phone across the table. "Listen," Lisa's eyes widened as the voices played. "This is huge," she said. "But recordings alone won't be enough. We need proof, bank records, spending files, the paper trail." For the next few days, the two of them quietly gathered data. They checked old HOA newsletters, scanned emails, and pulled receipts from shared files. The deeper they went, the darker it became. Duplicate payments, fake invoices, and thousands of dollars labeled as community improvement, with no evidence of any project done. Each night they met in secret, planning their next move. "If we bring this up at the next public meeting," Lisa said, "they'll try to shut it down. We need to make sure everyone hears the truth." By the end of the week, the day of the public HOA meeting arrived. The community hall was full, more people than ever before. Collins entered wearing his usual self-assured grin, greeting neighbors with his politician's charm. He had no idea what was about to unfold. Jake and Lisa sat near the front waiting. As the agenda went on, budget reports, landscaping updates, security fees, Jake finally raised his hand. "Excuse me before we continue," he said, voice steady but firm. "I have something that concerns every homeowner here." The room fell quiet. Collins frowned. "Jake, this isn't on the agenda," he said. Jake ignored him. "It's about the last board meeting." "I have a recording," whispers spread through the crowd. Collins stiffened. "That's a serious accusation." "You can't just—" Jake pressed play. The room filled with Collins' own voice. "We'll hide the audit results. The homeowners don't need to know where every dollar went." Gasps echoed. Someone in the back shouted, "What does he mean, hide the audit?" Lisa stood up, holding a stack of printed records. "And here's where your money actually went," she said, slamming the papers on the front desk. Fake invoices. Shell companies. All signed off by Mr. Collins himself. The tension exploded. Homeowners began shouting questions, demanding answers. Collins tried to speak over the chaos, but his voice was drowned out. "That's not true. Those documents are fake," he yelled, but Sarah, the treasurer, finally stood up. Her hands trembled, but her voice was clear. "They're not fake," she said softly. "I've seen those reports. Everything they're saying is true." The room erupted again, but this time not in confusion. It was anger. It was unity. Years of quiet frustration had turned into a storm of voices demanding change. That night marked the fall of Mr. Collins. Within days, He resigned from the board under pressure. Sarah was appointed interim president and promised transparency. The HOA announced open financial access, community voting reforms, and the creation of an independent audit team. Weeks later, the neighborhood started to feel different. The same streets that once held silent distrust now carried a sense of pride. Neighbors talked more. Meetings were open. Real conversations began. Jake sat on his porch one evening, watching the sunset paint the sky gold and purple. Lisa joined him with 2 cups of coffee. "Feels different now, doesn't it?" she said. Jake nodded. "Yeah, I think for once they're actually listening," she smiled. "Because you made them listen," he laughed softly. "No, it's because we all finally spoke up." The whispers behind closed doors were gone. In their place, the neighborhood had found its voice, strong, fearless, and united.